We landed at night. Something was waiting for us in the woods. I'm not giving you my name, I'm not giving you my unit, and I'm definitely not telling you where this happened. I've been flying Chinooks for over 15 years, CH-47Fs, the big ones, the twin rotor birds that look like angry school buses. I've got a little over 3,000 hours, and if everything holds, I'm trying to get 25 years before my body tells me to quit. Flying's the only thing I've ever been good at. But 2 weeks ago, during a routine training exercise, I saw something I haven't been able to explain. I've told exactly one person, my co-pilot, and he still doesn't believe me. That's fine. I wish I didn't believe me either. Here's what happened, and then we're done. We were supporting a multinational exercise in Eastern Europe. I won't say which country. The place we were operating from wasn't a closed installation. It was restricted access, which in practice means if you take the right dirt road and don't care about signs in 3 languages telling you to turn around, you can wander straight onto military land. Range control told us during the briefing that afternoon that there had been reports of trespassers, foragers, poachers, hikers, pick your flavor. It wasn't common, but it wasn't unheard of. The area backs straight up to a national border, and the lines on the map don't mean much to people who grew up out there. I didn't think much about it again, at least not until later. We took off at 23:47 for a night infill. 49 light infantry soldiers, full rucks, training weapons, blank fire adapters. They were doing a 3-day dismounted patrol. No live ammo, no illumination, no nod or night vision compatible strobes, just them in the dark. The moon hadn't bothered to show up. 0% illumination that night. NVGs or night vision goggles hate nights like that. For civilian listeners, night vision still works, but without ambient light, meaning a little moonlight, it turns into a grainy green snowstorm. You can see, just not well. Not well at all. Depth perception becomes more of a suggestion. It's really fun trying to fly in that sort of weather. My co-pilot, a solid CW2, handled radios while I flew. Crew chief and flight engineer in the back. Good crew. Bored, tired, competent. The kind of team you want on a night like that. The LZ, or the landing zone, was a clearing shaped like a horseshoe. Tall trees on 3 sides, open enough for us to put the bird down without kissing the foliage. We'd flown it twice already during rehearsals in the day, once at night, all without issue. We came in at a shallow approach, rotor wash blasting up dust and dead leaves. I could barely see through the NVG bloom. The whole world looked like it was underwater. 3, 2, 1, set, my co-pilot called. I eased the Chinook down, dampers taking the weight. Crew chief popped out the ramp. The dismounts ran like the hell out of the back. My co-pilot started a stopwatch, one of those habits pilots never grow out of. You time everything. That's how we stay honest. The platoon in the back had practiced this infill a dozen times. Full kit, 49 bodies, ramp to treeline. Their best time in rehearsals was 46 seconds. Tonight, 42. My co-pilot held up the timer, 42.13. I actually grinned. Damn, that's a record. The training works. These kids busted their asses, and for a second I felt proud of them. And then everything changed, and everything went dead quiet. The dust started to settle. Rotor wash decreased. Sound dampened into that low, vibrating hum you get when a Chinook is light on the ground. I scanned the LZ one more time. Routine, muscle memory. That's when I saw them. At the 12 o'clock position, dead to our front, maybe 25 meters out, right at the edge of the tree line. 4 silhouettes, human-shaped, upright, shoulder width, head height, not moving, just standing there, facing the aircraft. I blinked hard, turned my NVG gain up, down, side to side. Still there. If they were soldiers, they should have had night vision shrouds, IR strobes, reflective belts, helmets, weapons, rucks, anything. These had none of that, just blank outlines. blacker than the trees behind them. I keyed up the internal mic. "Hey, you guys seeing anything at 12? Crew chief said, "Negative, sir. Left side's all clear. Right side?" Co-pilot scanned. "Nothing. Looks clean." My heartbeat thumped in my neck because I could see them. I could practically feel them. And the worst part, they weren't moving at all. Not even swaying like people do when they stand still. I slid my left hand forward, instinctively prepping for a possible lift, but I couldn't take off. The crew chief was still outside, making sure no one got sucked into the rotors. Couldn't leave him. My brain snapped into the training tree. Threat modeling. Silhouettes, 25 meters. If they had rifles, we'd hear the crack before the thump. If they had an RPG, we'd all be pink mist. I swallowed hard, forced breathing even. Stay cool, I told myself. This is NVG scintillation, shadowing, tree trunks. But something deep under my ribs said no. This wasn't tricks of the eye. This was people watching us, watching me. Then it hit me like getting punched in the sternum. 49 soldiers, 0 live rounds of ammunition, a 3-day patrol with blank firing adapters. They'd run straight past the Chinook into the tree line behind us, disappearing into the dark without comms. If whoever was in front of us had looped around, if the silhouettes weren't alone, the platoon was defenseless, completely. One group of armed civilians, one cartel offshoot, one smuggler team, one pissed-off Border Patrol unit. They'd all be hostages before they knew what hit them. My stomach dropped. I tried to raise them on the radio, even though I knew better. Infantry on dismounted patrols don't turn on their radios until they reorganize deeper in the woods. I called anyway. Nothing but static. Time slowed to thick syrup. Crew chief climbed in. Ramp closed. "Sir, are we good?" I lied without hesitation. "We're good," I said. Because if I said the truth, that I see shapes nobody else sees, I'd be in the flight surgeon's office the next morning losing my wings. I lifted the bird, smooth and controlled, pretending everything else was fine. As we climbed above the trees, I glanced one more time. The shapes were gone. The next morning, after the sun had risen and I'd convinced myself I was imagining things, I went out for the pre-flight inspection. The bird was cold, quiet, familiar. I walked to the left wheel, checked the struts, the brakes, the hydraulic lines. I reached the right forward landing gear. Something bright glinted in the grease. A thread. A tiny, frayed red thread wrapped once, barely, around the wheel hub. I touched it. Soft, not nylon, not parachute cord, not from aircraft crew gear. I pulled it free, held it up. Where we were flying, there's nothing red on the ground. No clothing dye, no training tape that color, no fabric near the LZ at all. Just forest, dirt, leaves, and the silhouettes from last night. I felt ice climb up my spine. Someone, or something, got within 3 feet of the Chinook's right landing gear, close enough to snag a thread on it, and I never saw them. I didn't tell the crew, didn't tell the platoon leader, didn't tell my commander. I just pocketed that thread. Later that day, range control sent a message. No civilian activity reported, sensors negative, no partner forces scheduled in the area. Then another. Training targets removed by foreign forces on adjacent sector. Could explain visual anomalies. That was the official line. That was it. Unofficially, nobody wanted to talk. When the infantry came back 3 days later, I asked quietly if they'd seen anything unusual. "No, sir," the platoon sergeant said. "Just woods, nothing out of the ordinary." I didn't know what to make of it. I still have that red thread. Sits in a small zip bag in my flight manual binder. I don't know why I kept it. A souvenir, maybe. Proof. Reminder not to trust my own eyes. I've replayed the moment 1,000 times. 4 silhouettes, 25 meters out, blank, unmoving, silent, then gone. I don't know who they were, or why they were there, or why they came that close to the bird. or how they got that close without us seeing them. Here's the part I haven't told anyone. When we lifted off, the co-pilot swore he saw movement behind the tree line, behind where the infantry had disappeared. He said he didn't want to bring it up until he was sure. I told him he didn't see anything, and I didn't see anything. I lied. Whatever was in that tree line that night, it was closer to me than the men I was responsible for, and we left it there.